morning, good afternoon, good evening. A lot of people had expected Chamisa to come back from his sabbatical with a bang. And I think a lot of his supporters had hoped to see that too. One of the things that they boasted about when he announced his comeback from the sabbatical a few months ago now was that while he was away on his sabbatical, his opposition challengers, people like Tendai Biti, Welshman Ngube, Sabango, and so forth, had failed to make any significant inroad to take advantage of the fact that he was not there. And when he came back, they expected that he would take off from where he left off. It turns out that has not been the case. Here is a video clip of a Chamisa loyalist who is standing for council elections in Masvingo. And as you can see from the crowd of those who gathered at his launch, it's not very impressive. I'll just play it without the sound. All they were doing there is just singing. That's scan round. One can see that there wasn't much of a crowd there. I think that is the kind of crowd that some of the lesser popular opposition leaders like Douglas Monzora, Love Mo Maduku, and so forth, that attracted at their rallies. That's a small crowd. Nothing impressive at all. So one has got to ask whether Chamisa's so-called blue movement is not going to be a reality, or at least an easy ride as he had expected when he relaunched his CCC. Benjamin, welcome to the program. What do you think?
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. So what I can say here is that I believe the people of Zimbabwe are starting to wake up to the fact that this is just a farce. This is just people that are trying to use them and get whatever they want in the end. It's never anything about the people. And I think the people are waking up to that fact.
I can't, I've got to agree with you there, Ben. I think one of the sticking points for Nelson Chamisa has been this issue that he lied about plugging all the fault-tricking loopholes, and that has turned out to be untrue. He may have got away with it in 2018 when he made a similar lie that MDC Alliance had stringent measures to stop ZANU-PF rigging the elections, only for him to claim that ZANU-PF had rigged the 2018 elections just the day after the voting was done. He tried to do the same thing again in 2023. But I think this time, I believe a lot of Zimbabweans are waking up to the reality that he conned them. And I think the launch of this so-called blue citizen movement is not going to be as easy as when he launched the Triple C. And I think I agree with you that the people of Zimbabwe are waking up to the reality that the opposition, the MDC, Triple C, have been conning them. 25 years since the founding of the MDC, they failed to implement even one token reform. They've been participating in flawed elections only to give ZANU-PF legitimacy. I think that waking up is really worrying for Chamisa.
When you go through social media posts, he posts as well, and he has got his faithful that posts trying to encourage people to get back on board and give them that hope. You can see with the response that if he truly had that 2 million, that 2 million has since dwindled. And you're right to use the word worrying. It's now worrying to say, I lost all that instead of building on that. The whole sabbatical, people felt he should have done more, or at least he should have approached people to explain why his whole strategy, ambiguity and living away and walking away, he didn't do anything. He just simply kept giving Bible verses, and after giving the Bible verses, keeping people guessing, he comes and he says, I saw a picture of him, I don't know what he was writing or whatever, but he called that, the grand plan. I mean, look, you've used people, you have given people hope, and people have made a sacrifice. If you look at the rural areas, it's not easy to go and vote opposition. You become targeted. You lose, vital, foodstuffs, grain, seed and everything. Sacrificing for somebody to at least deliver. And that person then does not deliver. What's more hurtful is does not have the audacity to come and whether apologize or explain. So I sincerely believe whatever momentum he had or whatever numbers that he had will never be the same again, because the people have woken up to the fact that, wait a moment, this guy here can simply just lie and take a break, and come back and think he can still lie again and probably take another break or even a longer break. That does not show somebody that is, accountable to us. And I'm glad that the people of Zimbabwe are waking up to this fact. Now, what we need is to put more flesh onto that, realization. What is the problem? And the real problem is our political environment is a mess. we as Zimbabweans have never had free, fair, and credible elections. From the word go, from 1980, ZANU-PF has been rigging elections, and we need to change that narrative. Once we change that, then whoever your candidate or whoever wants to put their name, you know, for the race or for elections is free to do so. We have never stopped anybody from putting their name. What we are fighting for is real change, free, fair, credible elections. That is all we are doing. Thank you.
Well, what is interesting to note here is that video actually was shot by Change Radio, one of the medias that have supported Nelson Chamisa throughout. And the candidate who was standing in this by-election has remained a Chamisa supporter. And he was counting on using Chamisa's name and his continual loyalty to Chamisa to attract the people. That has failed. Change Radio is well known for its campaign based on the slogan, Nelson Chamisa, Change Champion in Chief. That has failed to take off. I believe that the people of Zimbabwe are really waking up to the reality that the opposition, that they've risked so much to support, has sold them. And the truth of the matter is they have sold them. And I think Chamisa will find it difficult to get the same level of following for his blue movement. And if he's going to con people with the same lie that the blue movement is going to win big because I've plugged all the vote freaking loopholes, I believe that we are not going to see as many people participating in the 2028 elections as happened in 2023. That is a very positive development, because there was nothing that was accomplished by participating in the 2023 elections other than to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship. That is the number one message I would like to leave with the people of Zimbabwe today.
The solution to our problem is pretty simple. And I believe that half the work has been done for us. You know, a lot of people will say the likes of SADC have not done anything. They've done a lot, but they cannot come and force us, to do things. You can only take a cow or, any livestock to the river. It is now up to that individual to drink the water and survive. We have been given recommendations by all observer missions. They have said the same thing. They have given us recommendations. Guys, if you want to fix your problem, you need to fix A, B, C, D. Fix your elections. That's as simple as I can put it. Fix your elections. Hold free, fair, and credible elections. Hold meaningful elections. That is all they are saying. And they've given us the recommendations on what needs to be done. What we just need to do is to push for those recommendations and finally end this whole system of rigged elections, the violence, you know, the skewed media and all those other things. If we cannot do that, we might as well not go ahead with elections as things are, because ZANU-PF will rig these elections. So in closing, I would say, if there are not going to be any reforms, or if we are not going to implement those reforms, we shouldn't have elections. No reforms, no elections, period.
I'd like to give the final word to Chamisa. This was the message he gave to the people of Zimbabwe in 2023, before the 2023 elections. And nearly 2 million Zimbabweans believed him and went to cast their vote in the 2023 elections.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifo iri. Plan ya Mwari haifo iri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
That was a lie. He even invoked the name of God. Hashtag God is in it. God was never in any of his harebrained schemes of participating in flawed elections, so flawed that it was clear from the word God that ZANU-PF was going to win. And he knew that participating will only give ZANU-PF legitimacy. But he conned people to participate out of greed. I believe his next lie, trying to tell people that the blue movement is going to win the 2028 elections, will be an uphill climb. He will not find so many people who will take his word for it. And that is a very positive development for Zimbabwe. We can't keep on participating in flawed elections to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and then complain that the elections were rigged, when we knew they were going to be rigged. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.